Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and today it's time to talk about The Flash. Now, I know I'm a couple days late for this video. I didn't get it up right after The Flash came out because I was busy doing customs and videos and sleeping. I have to do that a little bit here and there. But this is a Flash episode that we need to talk about because for me, it might have been... My voice just cracked. Maybe I'm going through puberty. Did you guys hear that? Anyway, for me, this might have been the best episode of The Flash so far. There have been quite a few that I liked a lot, particularly last season. But this episode, aside from two very small things, and hopefully I can remember them by the time I get to that point of this video, it was a very, very good episode for me. I wonder if anybody else thought the same. I didn't check any reviews or anything. I rarely do that just because I don't really care what these official media outlets have to say, because oftentimes they are a little bit biased for whatever reasons. But last night's episode had just about everything in it that was good and almost nothing in it that was bad. There was no whiny Iris. That was a good thing. I mean, she was in it a little bit and that was fine. Obviously, I don't have a problem with the character. But she wasn't whiny, annoying, naggy, whatever she has been in the past. She wasn't that, so that was a good thing. Wally was in it just the tiniest little bit, so that was a very good thing. Barry had some nice acting segments, not just running around being the Flash, so that was good. I like most of these actors, the way they carry the characters and the emotional range that they often have to go through. I think they do a pretty darn good job for a CW show. So I'm really happy with that. I like this episode a lot in that regard. Then we had a lot of the special effects that I love the way they're handling Zoom. I know I keep saying this, but he's the coolest bad guy maybe ever on screen, I think. Even compared to the cinematic universes for DC and Marvel. I really like the Avengers movies, and Loki's cool and all. And maybe he's a better character technically, but the way Zoom is being handled in this show, short of not having that much screen time, which might even lend itself to him being cool and mysterious, he's just so darn cool, right? Like, every time he's on the screen, I get excited. I want a whole episode of Zoom. Nothing but Zoom just walking around, eating sandwiches, doing whatever he does. I'd be happy with that. So Zoom was awesome. Though he was only in a little bit, he had some really cool scenes. Killed a couple people. I don't want to say who in case you haven't seen it yet. I don't want to spoil everything, though these are generally not spoiler-free discussions. And then they had Ronnie back, which I really like Ronnie as Firestorm, which he's not anymore because they have the other guy, which I can't think of his name, in the Legends of Tomorrow. They have him instead of Ronnie. But this time it was Deathstorm, which was even cooler, but they used the same special effects as before. And maybe it's just me again, but the special effects for Firestorm/Deathstorm, they are top-notch. They are cinematic universe quality graphics, special effects. It looks so good. I just can't get over how cool they made it. Unfortunately, we probably won't see Ronnie as Firestorm anymore in The Flash just because of the way they went with the story, but it was so good. I was a little bit worried about Caitlin playing Killer Frost. That was pretty good too. The icicle thing wasn't the coolest the way they did it. It looked kind of hokey, but it wasn't a big deal. It was fine, so that was good. Cisco in this episode, I always like Cisco. I was really worried about him when they first introduced the character. I thought, I'm not going to buy this guy in this role. He sells it perfectly. When he's Cisco, he was really good in this, and then once they went to Earth 2 and he was bad Cisco, the way they revealed Cisco's potential powers, that was really cool. Having Deadshot in the episode was cool in Earth 2. Him being a cop that can't aim, that was really good. I liked the way they mixed that in. That was fun. Having the Chief be a bad guy. The whole Earth 2 thing, they did really well. I'm excited to see how it goes next week now that Barry's captured. But I think they're doing a really good job with the Earth 2, and this episode just in general was really good. Everything in this episode was good, except for the two small things. The first small thing, I'm trying to remember the second one as I go through this first one. The first one was Barry's concern over Joe and Iris from Earth 2 after Joe got hit with a fireball. Yeah, I understand him being concerned, but stopping Zoom is easily more important than going to sit with them as they're in the hospital. That was just bad writing. So that was the first thing. And the second thing, what was the second thing? Well, we'll come back to the second thing if I can remember it. Hopefully I will. I should write these down. I don't like to do scripts because you guys prefer to see more organic type stuff from what I've heard in the comments. So I don't really like to do scripts. Anyway, the weekly bad guy, which was Geomancer, which is like, I don't like that bad guy at all. I mean, it's like a throwaway character, but it was really just a throwaway character. They didn't really need him in the show at all. So that was fine. They showed Jay Garrick use the new speed juice to do some stuff, which really he didn't do anything except for the hat thing, which was kind of cool. Smacked his hat and shot a sonic boom at the guy. So that was all right, but then he tripped and lost all of his juice. So I don't know. I'm not really into the whole Jay Garrick thing. Hopefully they can turn that around, make it more useful. I hope. But even if they don't, I don't think he needs to be there really. So I don't care. So there was that. The weekly episode, weekly bad guy wasn't a problem at all. What was the second problem? Okay, and the second thing that bothered me, which was just a super tiny detail, but I want to point it out because I wonder if anybody else noticed it, was when Barry is in Earth 2 and he's first talking to Iris, her little wristwatch iPad thing says there's a metahuman nearby, and she gets all freaked out, and he's like, oh, well, obviously it's not me, because that Barry isn't a metahuman, so it's probably just on the fritz. So that's fine. No big deal there. But later, when they're in the hotel lobby or the restaurant or whatever that was, the bar, and then nobody has their wristwatch things freaking out until Firestorm and Killer Frost show up. But Barry's been sitting in the room the whole time. Did anybody else notice that? His being a metahuman didn't set off anybody's alarms. But when those people showed up, it did. So that was kind of like, why? They didn't need to put that in there if they were going to make it inconsistent. It was a continuity error. Obviously, it's just a very tiny thing. I'm just curious if anybody else noticed that. So that was it for the second thing. No big deal, really. So it was just a really good episode, and if you guys haven't seen it, you need to. I thought it was fantastic. Really, really good episode. I enjoyed it a whole bunch, and I'm really excited to see how it goes next week. So that was a discussion. Let me know what you guys thought about all of those things, and we'll talk in the comment section, and then I will see you next week.